Hi everybody, it's Sandy. It's time for the full moon rose reading, and I got a little distracted just as I was about to start this reading because it's been quite sort of turbulent here weather-wise today, lots of storms coming through, and just as I was setting everything up, the sky went black and there was a shower that came through, and we had the most amazing rainbow, one of the brightest and clearest rainbows I think I've ever seen, and I could see both ends of the rainbow, and I took that as a very good sign and a very nice affirmation that actually my creative endeavours today were heading in the right direction. It felt like a really positive sign of the times, so to speak. Anyway, here we are. It's a full supermoon at 19 degrees of Virgo. So the sun is at 19 degrees of Pisces. So the sun and moon are opposite one another for us to have a full moon, and it is a culmination. It's a deep process. It's a strong emotional moon, and I'm sure many of you have been feeling it. I've seen, people that have popped up on Facebook, and obviously, friends of mine too, that have found this week it's incredibly intense. Hi Renee, hello. And I had a couple of days when actually, there were all sorts of challenges, and, I felt like I was in and out of a treacle pot at times. However, as I mentioned on a Facebook post this morning, there really does feel to be an energy shift that's occurred today. And I know so many people that have been waiting, that they have been planning and incubating, perhaps ideas that have been cooking for a while. The work that I've been doing today, this has been to launch a new rose program tomorrow on the full moon, and it's something that I've been cooking for 2 or 3 years and kept pushing off and thinking that I wasn't ready, and it was probably right, but nevertheless it's come forward to do now. So, as I say, this particular full moon seems to have quite a strong emotional charge on it. I mean, full moons often will do that because obviously they have an effect on the tides and the waterways, and we are 70% water, and so we can expect a bit of push me pull you in the process. But full moons are often about a culmination. They're about bringing to the zenith, really, of the journey that the moon and the sun are on in their dance in the heavens. And hi Amanda, hi Agnes. So, each one has got a flavour for it. It's got a flavour for us. It's got a pulse point, and it's got a flavour that it's bringing a new piece of information into the process. This one in particular, hi Grace, hi Vicky, feels that it's got something that it's offering us as an insight into our soul experience, what we've come on this journey, this earth realm journey to experience and to work with. So there is the possibility through this full moon to have another insight and aha in our own soul's evolution, in our spiritual understanding, in our connection to the deep mysteries. So alongside that, it feels to have quite a strong, dynamic, practical, actual energy to it, so that we can be looking at what there are steps that can be taken that is going to bring forward a manifestation. So, what seeds are you planting? What is it that you're being called to? Obviously, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're getting ready to actually physically plant seeds in the ground, which may be, because we're looking much more now to how we grow our food, and is there something here that is going to add a richness to our lives because we're actually planting and growing something of substance. But there is something here that is planting seeds in a slightly different way. And there's also this pattern of, I think I mentioned it last time, this place of refine and align that still feels to be running for me. It still feels to be a keynote for this journey this year. What is it that I am being called to refine and align within my physical body? So could I be looking at refining and aligning my thoughts? Could I be looking at refining and aligning my food? Actually, I've just seen that Alison's just joined, and Alison has been posting the most incredible vegan cookery from a Demuth course that she's on. And I'm thinking, I'd like to go and do that. I'd like to go and learn to create magical dishes in that way too. So what is it that you're being called to? What is it that you're being inspired by? We're all here to inspire one another, so I'm sure that when we connect in with things, that there are ways in which we light a path for others. Hi Katie. So is this a refine and align in your outer temple space? This temple space has a mirror in this outer temple space. So are you being called to do a spring clean? Again, we're coming into this energy of the year. It's refine and align. Do I love this? Do I really feel that this is the right alignment for me now? Is this the colouring, and are these the things that I want to keep around me? Or is this time for another cull? Is it another time for letting go? Because when we let go, we make space for something else. We make space for another opportunity to come into our lives, which could be waiting for us to make the space in our thoughts, in our alignment, and in our physical space. So this moon, I feel, has got lots of aspects to it and lots of insights that it can bring us if we can just tune in to the energy, because there's a balance between the mystical and the practical aspects of this moon. So, shall we see what the roses have got to offer us as their wisdom for this upcoming moon and for the 2 weeks that are between this full moon and the new moon? This is going to be a month where the energy builds as the month goes on. So the more we can be centered, the more we can be really connected into our earth stars, connected in and feeling that sense of alignment and grounded presence, we won't get as spun off by the vagaries of what's occurring in the outer landscape. The calling to come within, I feel, is the journey of this year. It's a real path of mastery. It's a place of coming into a deeper connection with our true self. So many of us have operated, and I certainly am one of them, from childhood, operated from a false self, a false sense of identity that's had to have its layers peeled away, almost like the petals of the rose. That each time there has been another insight, each time there has been another gift in my journey, there's another petal that is being able to open in order for me to come into this golden heart place, this place of the true alignment that we have come to uncover. The rose journey is fascinating because it is a path of uncovering. It is a path of coming home to self, but it's not necessarily for the faint-hearted. Oh God, you know, it is a bit of a dive deep at times. It's an initiatory path. It is an activation path, but nobody said when we signed up that it was easy. Anyway, shall we see what the roses have got to offer us as insight for this coming time? So we have Rose Angel 5. Now, Rose Angel 5 is one of the transformers of the 5 wounds to love. This rose sits on the throat, and you can see her outer petals are really open, but the inside is like she's absolutely pregnant with something to say. There's something to be expressed. So if you are drawn and resonate with this rose today in the reading, you want to look and see what is occurring around your throat chakra. She sits on the throat and she offers us the jewel or the salve of truth. She's all about speaking truth. No longer denying or swallowing down what it is that is really nudging to be spoken. I mean, I don't know about you, but you know, these days, actually when there is an energy charge on something that I have been able to process, I know where it's coming from, I know what the message is beneath the energy charge, there is no option but to speak, no option but to share the insight or the experience of what's occurring. Of course, the caveat of that is that when we speak, the words are out there and we cannot take them back. So in the nanosecond between reaction and response, this rose invites us to ask for our truth and to trust our inner wisdom that what's needing to be spoken needs to be spoken. It is an interesting dance that actually, when we don't share what we truthfully feel or have the insight of, we deny someone else really knowing who we are. And that creates a diffuse field of questioning as to who this person is and where they're coming from. When we speak, and we speak from an alignment that is down in that second chakra, because the throat is the higher octave of the sacral chakra, and within the sacral chakra is that real sense of who am I inside the tribe. It's that place of what Jung would call the individuation, whereby we rise out of the tribal conditioning and the family that we choose to birth into to find ourselves. And for many of us, as I said at the beginning of this reading, for many of us, it takes almost a lifetime to unpeel and uncover the layers, you know, particularly around the throat. This is an interesting rose to work with. You can really see where that energy is held, waiting to be shared. So maybe part of this new energy that's coming forward this year is calling you to speak, that is calling you to be more available to share your work, perhaps to share your work in a different way. It's always interesting. Oh, thank you for all the little hearts that are going up through my phone. Hi Phyllis, hi Sass, hi Juliet. So let's see what else the roses have to offer us. Rose Bagua 5. Rose Bagua 5 has come up many times in our readings of recent times, and she sits in the middle of the Rose Bagua. And many of you know the Bagua is a feng shui term. It's a box of 9 squares. Rose Bagua 5 sits in the centre. And when I'm working with the Rose Bagua, I work from the centre as the place of the heart. So it's like, what's your heartfelt expression in these different aspects of your life? But always you come back to centre. And this is so much of our mastery at this time, is to know where our centre is and to come back to it on a regular basis. Those of you that follow me on my antics on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, will probably know that I did some work in the north of England this week, and I flew up to the north of England on a carrier called Flybe, which delivered me to Newcastle okay, but then went into liquidation. So all of their aeroplanes were grounded. You know, there were no flights. I got a text at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, "Don't bother to go to the airport, Sandra, because we're not flying anywhere." And it was an interesting few moments where I thought, holy moly, how am I going to get home? And then I read the small print, and that allowed me to come back into centre and go, okay, there is a chance that I might get a flight home. So, you know, there's an invitation with this rose. There's an invitation to remember where centre is, and that is a very good place to rest. In a lot of the mystery school teachings, you know, the path out onto the rim of the wheel of your life is an effortless journey. We're really it's easy to get out on that rim, but we've got to remember that there are spokes that come back into the absolute hub of our centre, and to remember that actually this is a benevolent universe, and all of these different things that we experience are a calling to mastery. They're a calling to come back into centre, knowing that there is an answer that is presented in the question. So this Rose Bagua 5, she's your reminder for the next couple of weeks that actually the centre of the hub of the wheel, the centre is where you need to rest, and you go out to take your loving heart and your action out into the world, but the reminder is to come back into the hub. It's a bit like an in-breath and an out-breath, coming back into the centre, because actually just a few nice easy breaths in and out between actions reminds you to come back and rest within. So let's see what the third rose is that the roses have for us today. So, we have rose 5. So this is the second rose that sits on the throat. So throat issues are the focus for this particular reading. Refine and align. These are the keynotes. You'll see that this rose, and she's one of the roses from the Alhambra, she's one of the original roses from the Alhambra, has got like a golden coating on the back of her leaves. And there is this reminder, this she's very refined and defined, this rose. So actually, this place in which the clarity of our speech becomes really important. The fact that when we have got something to say, that we have returned to centre to actually have considered what it is that is needing to be said, and to say it with kindness. This place of being kind as an understanding point of the fact that we are all on a journey. We are all working our way through this experience called life. And we are in complex times. And none of us really knows what's going on for another person. None of us really knows what might be going on behind that brave smile. You know, this is the place in which we can share kind words, where we can be a comfort, where we can be an inspiration. For many years, I longed for a healing centre. I longed for this vision of a healing centre. And one day, I was in the corner shop, and a conversation with the person there was enough to shift what was going on with them. And I realised that actually you're a healing centre wherever you are, and actually just a kind word to someone in the corner shop is enough to do the job in many, many ways. So here's our 3 roses. We have got Rose Angel 5. We have got Rose, oh wow! We have got Rose Angel 5, Rose Bagua 5, and Rose 5. How fascinating. I don't think that's ever happened on a reading before. So, this week, and for the next 2 weeks, 5 is obviously a significant number. We have this place of not swallowing down what we know needs to be said, and that might mean we have to have some difficult conversations to bring a clarity, to bring a resolution, and perhaps to enable us to move forward in a particular way. Coming back into the centre of our being, absolutely knowing that the core of our heart field is where the wisdom is, and particularly for women, it's that heart solar plexus combination that is the seat of the wise woman. It is the place of our inner wise counsel. And hi Leslie, and hi Christine, and again this throat rose, this place of being totally aligned with our truth, totally aligned with what we know of our true self, letting go of illusion, letting go of delusion. This is absolutely essential. And it's interesting because the sun is pretty close to Neptune, which historically has been the trickster, the illusion delusion aspect of the journey, but also brings in, if we're operating from the higher aspect of Neptune, it will bring us in the wisdom of the deepest mysteries. So these are our 3 roses. Powerful message, a 555 message. And oh gosh, anyway, what else have I got to share? Our new Rose 2 program online starts on Tuesday evening, and tomorrow I shall be launching the Rose Heart Inner Mastery journey. It's a 9-month journey. It's an adventure with me. It's a brand new program. And I just know that from what I've been given, and it's going to be a super duper, really powerful journey. And actually the registration for it opens tomorrow. I've worked all day today with an amazing woman who's been designing the banner for me, and my super duper web maestro, Paul, who's got together everything on this on the Rose portal. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. And thank you so much for joining me. It's been a really fascinating journey, and actually seeing that amazing rainbow before I started was an added bonus. So thank you so much for joining me. The sun is just about to dip down below the trees here in the Rosie Temple, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.